Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. This
Your microphone.
I think we're doing good. I think we're live, and I think everything's good. We had a technical difficulties on Friday. It's because I'm talking about the January barometer, and they're like, he's giving away the secrets of the universe. Yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and bring up OC, man. Jeez, Louise. OC, I have no camera from you, but we're here. We're here.
I
We're going
needed
to
to
do
do
this.
that
We're
to
pushing
reconnect.
forward on Friday. Damn it! Shout out to everybody that's stuck here with us. It's working. Roman Brave said it's working. Let's go see what all did we have in the chat here. It says we got Alexander G. We got the Mod Queen in here with us, of course. We got Indie Rock Crypto in here with us. Roman Brave. Wix Wi-Fi 89. Two Doves said good morning, Piper. I needed good tech today, not good mornings, but I take the good mornings too. Do-overs. It's part three. Welcome to the intro part three today. OC, how you feeling today, man?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Today, I did wake up almost at the edge of my timing, so I haven't taken any breakfast. In fact, I'm just waiting for my coffee to be ready, but I'm going to be waiting for the news section to run over. I just bring it over here. No OG today. No OG today. I run out of orange juice. But other than
I'm
that,
going to
doing
reset my
fantastic.
microphone. They said my mic might be the wrong input. Let me know, guys. My audio okay? Do I need to restart that? Let me know in the chat. If I do, I will restart the audio.
Yes, it sounds like it's coming from your phone or other input or source.
All right. There we go. I think that should be better now. Is that better?
Same. But I think it's not that bad.
Okay, maybe it could be anything. It could be anything. You know what? We're gonna roll on with it. OC, it says it sounds like a
Yes.
background mic. Yeah, it's a little weird. I'm sorry. We're gonna make it do with it, guys. We're gonna keep rolling. OC, yesterday we talked about some pullback on Bitcoin and stuff. While I mess with some stuff here, can you go ahead and pull up your chart real fast before I jump into the news? Let's talk about those pullback levels. Why we thought there would be a pullback. It was the daily indicators were showing money flow out, all that stuff, and then why we got a bounce, and also it's there's a trend line. There's a trend line running on the 4 hour that we retested perfectly. So OC retest belongs with OC. Let's kick it over to your chart real fast while I mess with this audio.
Absolutely. In fact, I was teaching in it on the 15 minutes. Look at here, a couple of areas that I was expecting played out. So at this point, remember that we had this. Look at that reversal going into a failed goose head. In fact, this is the very kind of one of the few goose heads that completed goose head that looked amazingly. That did not play out fantastically, right? I mean, at the end of it all, we did have a little bit of a pullback and then coming back up. It seems like we're bouncing out of the zero line. We still have a strong prime score, and we created this low right here. It's a very cricket trend line, so very high up in here. So we'll see if we can hold it on maybe the next pullback, because I do still think that we're gonna have either a little range or some itty bitty pullbacks to at least 100k or 100k 900 or something like that, somewhere around here along the line, right? So, but we're having that flip of the ribbon almost confirmed there. Let's go to the 4 hour here, and this is the same trend line that got respected perfectly. There's another one in here that we just created with this low, but we still need to wait for this flip of the ribbon, the 4 hour, to confirm this low. We can still go back all the way down here for another retest, but other than that, we also have this beautiful other trend line that Piper was talking about. This one, OC and Piper believe. So shout out to Wick 589, a live chat. It says OC and Piper believe they hype. You see a chart and they see the snipes. Nice. I love it. Love it. Thank you, my friend. So basically, it's not about the breakout. It's about your retest
Target locked.
again,
Ready
and off
to
we go.
fire.
Target locked and fire. Nice. Awesome. So I mean, we've been just trending on this in these two trend lines. Seems like everything is looking very nice. So the next step will be either pushing upwards for this one, all right? Or because we're making this little channel, or going to visit creating this higher low and then push up. We still need to wait and see what's going to happen with this flip of the ribbon. I think this 4 hour flip of the ribbon is going to define whether if today or throughout the weekend we see a pump or dump. Let me just do this like that. Let's go to a 15 minutes so we can just complete the whole cycle here. And this was the itty bitty trend line that I was looking for, right? Let me show you that it almost looks exactly as the 4 hour, but it will be giving us this next bounce. In fact, you see that I already have a trend line. To be honest, this was pure luck. Why? Because we did not have this candle. I was only measuring from this point and then turning on my indicators. Well, not pure luck, just measuring where the support on those indicators would be and then tracing that trend line on that area. Why? Because this is the edge of the bounce and this is the area of support that we could be seeing for the 15 minutes. So still looking strong. Bitcoin still looking strong. We are on a up-ranging trending here. Usually this breaks to a downside, but we're still above the zero line in here. So we are waiting again, just like the 4 hour, the flip of the ribbon. Volume looks good. Uh,
Patience.
flow looks
Patience.
money flow doesn't look that good though, and 270 is breaking down. I cannot call for a bearish movement just yet, especially since we have this little absorption zone right here. But what I can tell you, it is we need to be patient, just like
Yep.
Piper mentioned.
That's it. But innuendo
Let me
said we could go
define
up or we could go down. That's the call today. Uh, I'm feeling a little more bullish today than I am on most days. And that's because our PCE came in line. Let's go ahead, jump over into all this economic data. Let's run through this stuff. You can go get your coffee without OJ, and we'll make the show happen, guys. Shout out to Wick. I appreciate that super chat, bro. And always the kind words in rhyme every time. I dig it. There you go. Did that on purpose. There you go. Let's go get into the news, guys. All right, taking a look at the news here, guys. This morning, we are sitting right now total crypto market cap at 3.58 million, getting ready to become 3.59 trillion dollars, I should say, trillion. Overvaluation currently sitting 5.4% to the upside. Bitcoin right now, it's in a risk band of a 60% risk band. So nothing too bad yet. Not at the profit taking levels yet. Still letting it run, doing its thing right now. And looking over here at the Bitcoin dominance with stable coins is at 58.2%. The without stables, it's at 61.97, almost 62%. So moving over to X, guys. Got some things to show you over here. Bitcoin longs versus shorts today on centralized exchanges. Look how many more shorts. It's 53.5% shorts, 46.5% longs today. So we are seeing that little bit higher level of shorts than there are longs. And we know that typically when we get that, people like to play games and squeeze those shorts out. So yes, we are looking at how this is play out today. It looks like on almost all exchanges, Bybit's got more longs than shorts, but Binance has more shorts than longs. OKX has a lot more shorts than longs. So we could see a little squeeze action come out of that. Looking at the PCE information that came in this morning, guys, we'll break down on the actual economic calendar, but Kabisi letter talked about it a little bit here. December PCE inflation, the Fed's preferred inflation measure, rises to 2.6% in line with expectations of 2.6%. Core PCE inflation was 2.8% in line with the expectation of 2.8%. And PCE inflation is now at its highest level since May of 2024. The Fed pivot has officially been paused. So breaking that down there. I do want to show this, though. This is pretty interesting. This is the stock market. Kabisi letter said it has unlocked a new level of euphoria. So raising in a straight line, the market did in a straight line as President Trump threatened 100% tariffs in 30 countries at once. What's he talking about there? He's talking about this. President Trump here yesterday said, breaking, President Trump officially announced 25% tariffs on both Canada and Mexico. Okay. But then he went on to do this, guys. Check this out. This is President Trump threatens 100% tariffs on all BRICS countries if they try to replace the US dollar. More than 30 countries have expressed interest in joining BRICS. And this is his official post that he said on it. The idea that BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We are going to require a commitment from these seemingly hostile countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling in the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker nation. There is no chance that BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade or anywhere else. And any country that tries should say hello to tariffs and goodbye to America. That is Trump's comment yesterday. Pretty interesting to hit everyone with that. But on that news, guys, the U.S. market absolutely rallying. Let's go look at the crypto bubbles and get a refresh view of this. Looking at this on the hourly, we are starting to see a little bit of red here, a little bit of pullback, but on the daily, still sitting in the green. Let's go look at Bitcoin's price right now. Bitcoin currently sitting at $104.3 thousand, down about 0.5% on the daily. Ethereum is up 3.3%. Ethereum pushed past BNB. Solana, it did a bunch of moves last night, guys. It's pretty cool to see Ethereum getting a little rally, sitting at $3,300. XRP down about 0.5%. Solana's down about 0.6%. Dogecoin down about 0.1. BNB is up about 0.6%. Tron up 3.2. Let's see here. Any big movers in here? Let's just move through this because we kind of lost a little bit of time this morning with my technical know-how failing me. Let's jump over to there and take a look at the U.S. markets. U.S. markets still sitting in the green this morning. Dow Jones up about 0.1%, about 0.15. S&P up 0.45 and NASDAQ up 0.93, rebounding some of those losses that I had earlier this week. Looking at the economic calendar, core PCE, guys, this is the stuff that we just talked about here. Core PCE was expected to be 0.2%, came in at 0.2%. Personal income was at most expected to be 0.4 to 0.3, came in at 0.4. So, yeah, overall, everything came in line. No scary numbers in here, no surprises at all on the PCE. Next week, we're going to be looking at ISM manufacturing coming in. It's expected to be a little bit higher. That would be an inflationary indicator. We do have JOLTS job openings coming in next week. Looking previously was at 7.8 million. Now it's looking at 8 million. We'll see how that turns out there. And then there is another one in here that I wanted to point out. It's going to be on Friday. There it is. Non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate all coming in on the 7th there. 4.1% is what it's expected to be. It's what it is currently right now. So if we get these numbers in line next week, yes, they are, not great numbers. We're talking non-farm payrolls dropping approximately 50,000 there on that report. So some data next week could give us a little shakeout, but we're going to see next week how that all turns. Let's talk about this January barometer real fast. I'm going to drop this over to the OC and Piper screen here for the news because I want to talk about this with OC. And let's talk about the January barometer. What the hell is Piper talking about on the January barometer? All right, guys. So going way back in the day to 1950s when they started to track this data. When we have Januaries that have performed well, following Santa Claus rallies not doing well. So there's a whole breakdown on this, and that's what the January barometer is. It kind of gives you the expectations for the entire year, right? So I'm going to do this one real quick, and then I got a better article that talks about the Santa Claus rally in it. So January barometer points to 2025 gains after volatile but up month. The stock market January barometer stipulates that as goes the S&P in January, so goes for the entire year. Through Thursday, with only one trading day left in the month, this was as of yesterday, the S&P 500 was higher by 3.2% in January, even after falling 0.5% this week in the wake of the DeepSeek stuff. What's more, the Russell 2000 small cap index is up by 3.5%, and the NASDAQ up by 1.9%. The latter after slumping 1.4% in a week. So it's still up 1.9% besides that. So let's get over here and let's talk about the forget Santa rally. The stock market bulls look to the January barometer for clues in 2025. Let's talk about how this thing works. So the Santa Claus was a no-show. We didn't have the Santa Claus rally. Did not play out like it usually does. For a second year in a row, but stock market bulls may be able to take their lump of coal in stride if January gets the year off to a positive start. The first so-called Santa Claus rally, popularized by the late Yale Hirsch of the Stock Traders Almanac in the 1970s, it's based on the tendency of the S&P 500 to rally in the last 5 trading days of the calendar year and the first 2 days of the next calendar year. This time around, the period began on December 24th and ended Friday. The S&P 500 rallied 1.3% on Friday, but it wasn't enough to summon the jolly old elf, and so we did not get the Santa rally. So, what does it look like when we have a positive growth January after a Santa Claus rally failure? There's a whole chart for that. Let's talk about that one. Actually, it's going to be in here. Let's just get down to it. All right, so looking at this is the S&P 500 January indicator trifecta. Down Santa Claus rally, up January barometer. And you can see, looking here back in like 1967, the barometer said, hey, look, we're looking good. We did not get the Santa Claus rally, so 1.4 negative, negatives, right? We get into the table here for the January, and then for the next 11 months, 11.4%, 18.9%, 17.6%. And look at the total full years. These things run into the 20% move to the upside. Another chart that they have in here, taking a look at this. This is after up or down years, right? Santa Claus rally, the first 5 days, the January barometer. We had no Santa Claus rally. The first 5 days were positive, and then a January barometer is pushing to the upside. All of that stuff in line should give us 71% chance of a 9.3% move at least based on the averages for the following year on the stock market. We know if the stock market does well, crypto does really well. So that is what the January barometer is. I just wanted to break this down for you guys. I actually am going to drop these links in the Discord for our members so you guys can check these out. But OC, let's jump over and let's talk about the January barometer and see what you think about this because when you look at the monthly returns on Bitcoin, right? And we see, hey, look, January year's strong, right? And then we get the 11 months of the stock market. How do you think we're going to look this year on Bitcoin? Because historically, an annual return on Bitcoin for the whole year, for the quarter, I should say, at this point should be about 100% move on just Bitcoin alone. So, what are your thoughts? Are we going to see this 11-month rally continue on? Mind you, we could have things like COVID-19. COVID-19 threw that off in 2020, where we had the January barometer. So, black swans aside. What do you think the rest of the year looks like based on the historicals of the January barometer? You're muted. Hey, you're muted.
Oh yeah, I did have my waffle next to me. I didn't want to, like ding ding ding. That's why I muted. But the point is, I do have 3 points that need to come clean here before I do give my opinion to try to give my honest opinion. Right. The first one, there's a market that I need to shield, and that is 500K Bitcoin. By the way, if you have not watched that video, go watch it. So I don't know if you're asking the right guy to answer this, right? Well, I'm gonna try to put that aside of me and try to answer nicely. And the next thing, I think we're gonna get another pandemic, and this pandemic is gonna be called Trumpium 19 or something like that. I don't know, the 100% tariff. I think that's gonna be even stronger of what everything could be happening, right? And it's also could be a black swan that hasn't been seen before. So just trying to answer your question before, aside of all of the external factors, I think that we're gonna do okay. I don't think that we're gonna do just like always. I don't think that we're gonna do poorly, but I think that at this point of the markets or history, better said, it is where we need to consider smart money or institutional money. Institutional money it is slow, right? It used to have longer periods where it needs to cook with it for their shareholders. So I think that's going to be taking a little bit of time. And then we're going to be seeing that influx of money. I think we're going to be having that rally, but it's going to take a little bit longer, maybe a couple of weeks more, maybe 1 or 2 months longer to play it out. But I still think that Bitcoin, it is a stronger coin at this point. And despite it's still like a toy, and I mean, it pains me to say it, but we still are on that point, right? That doesn't mean that you cannot get rich out of it. That doesn't mean that you cannot make a buck out of it, right? But still, like a toy. I mean, it's not even Meta's market cap, right? So,
True.
being said that, yeah. So, I mean, being said that, I think that it's going to play out fantastically, but we need to keep an eye on external factors like Trump, right? At the very beginning of the year, I mean, you saw me pushing for Trump. I was, or I am pro Trump, right? But right now it's on office. That's the second point I want to clarify. But now that he's in office, just like with any other president in the world, right, including mine, as soon as they take on office, I'm gonna be hypercritical. So starting from the point that he took office, you're gonna be seeing me more criticizing him and his actions, not because it matters, but because I believe that's how it should be done, right? You
Yeah,
criticize the
absolutely.
guy on
Absolutely.
yeah on that part. And other than that, well, we'll see how that played out. Because tariff, man, that's the thing that I'm most worried about. Why? Because it's not only going to impact U.S. Economy, it also going to impact the countries that are having the tariff, right? So how is that going to be factoring in into Bitcoin? That depends. That
It's the
depends,
big
and I'm
unknown.
very excited to see.
Tariffs are the great
Yes,
unknown for 2025 for sure, bro. For sure. Yeah.
they are.
I think that we do have a glide path. Um,
Mhm.
for a up year for 2025. But again, it just like we can have any type of black swan event. We don't know what the results are going to really be on tariffs. We think that it is initially going to raise the is initially going to raise the inflation rates in the United States for because the goods are going to cost more until they figure out a alternate supply source, right? But there's some things that you just cannot get an alternate supply source on, like electronics. We get a majority of the stuff for our electronics out of China. We know this, right? So Brazil, India, they are some major factors for some things that we use when it comes to EV cars, the batteries and stuff. And we're doing this, if there's a push for EVs, EV market, like what's Tesla going to do if their batteries all of a sudden, 100% more expensive because there's a 100% tariff, right? So we do have some factors that we have to look at that are unknowns at this point, and those great unknowns are the hiccup in the actual true prediction of 2025. But I think as of right now, as long as those tariffs are being used for negotiation purposes, that we do have an opportunity for that play out. So I do want to jump over and go into Bitcoin. You already did Bitcoin, but I want to jump over that real fast and just show what I'm seeing here on the chart because I have a little bit of a
Before
different
we
trend line.
jump there, I have another news that is related to it. Could we just
Oh yeah.
quickly go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
it
yeah,
before we
absolutely.
change topic?
Let's jump over your screen.
Perfect. Shout out to One Way. He sent me this a couple of days. It's not a that of a recent news here, but I think it's important. Why? Because we're seeing some major advancements being shot out here. So I want you guys to read you here. EUV lithography machines. That is amazing, by the way. Machines announce a breakthrough. Chinese Academy of Science fulfill its promise. Sorry. ASML did not expect it be so fast. So basically what this is talking about, it is that China has been created or has been successfully created a new lithography breakthrough, right? So reliability and possibilities, because we need to understand that to create chips, to manufacture high quality chips, at this point of history, you can even build the facility and still you have a chance not to actually be functional until you start running production tests. So who's going to actually invest billions of dollars for something that is not going to be playing out on the first ride? Well, then that's why we see Taiwan holding the monopoly of chips, because they already have gone with the risk, right? and US was investing a ton of money to go back and bring that technology back into home, right? But we see China with this breakthrough, right, going faster that we have seen. Let's go back into Dualcam, because I do have a two questions for you, Piper.
Yeah.
Remember what happened with DeepSeek?
Yep.
That it kind of like stole data, right? So in the back of my head,
Well,
this is gonna be, you
allegedly,
know what? I
allegedly they they
allegedly,
they pirated intellectual property and used chips that they should not have had access to per sanctions. So we'll see. We'll see.
yeah. So quick question before we go to Bitcoin. Would this be a little bit of an advancement, but not such a huge advancement, but pressure on US and Taiwan to reveal it, hence a new technology being released? Do you think this is a strategy to push that for maybe, and just maybe, like espionage is in chip development? Or do you really think that we're going to be seeing a reallocation of money based on where future chips will be produced?
Here's my problem with technology production. In my world, iron sharpens iron, and when you have competition, you have innovation. When you are limiting the amount of competition that a country can have because you've limited another competitor from even being in the game, you tend to shut down innovation. And I think at the end of the day, innovation is the for the world's gain, not just the nation's gain. So I do have a problem with constricting on that. I just want to put that out there first. But I I could see that any company, you got to remember how many companies were started in garages from 19-year-olds that dropped out of college. It just takes one person to have an innovative perspective on chip making that it has not been thought of yet. I know that's hard when you got all the brains working at NVIDIA, but as technology adopts and adapts and grows, I think that we'll see a growth in that. But as of right now, China seems to be on the front of some competition out there that we are trying to hinder, and I think that's when they get to the actual mode of where we can actually look at it and go, is this all original technology? I think that we'll see that probably not. They're taking other people's so that they have that stronger foundation to grow off of. But that's all I got to say about that, man.
Nice.
All right, let's jump over. Let's jump over to the Bitcoin chart. Then I want to come back and address the community because I got a question for the community. We might be making some changes here. Might be making some changes on timelines. Want to get your guys' input though because this isn't my show. I come here and do this show for you guys. This is your show, so I'll be right back. Let's go jump over. Check out the Bitcoin chart, guys. Looking here at the Bitcoin chart. This is the trend line that I was talking about here on the 4-hour. We had this falling wedge. And yesterday we did get the breakout. I was talking about this on the show yesterday. We got a breakout above it. And look where we came back here. For the past 12 hours, we tested this as support, and we're now getting a bounce off of that. We are being held down underneath the value area high, but it looks like we're about to get a little curvature here on the ribbon. Money flow is coming back up. Watching this trade volume closely. We are heading into the weekend, so the volume matrix coming down as we head into the weekend, which we typically get lower volume anyways, is a little concerning. But as of right now, we are holding this trend line as support. Bitcoin showing some strength there. We do have a strong buy indicator that has fired, and this retest just confirms that even more. Might be the time if we come down and touch this again for me to get into another long. This happened overnight. I was sleeping. I got to sleep sometimes. So that's what I'm seeing there. OC, let's address the community. Guys, we're thinking about doing a change to the time of the morning market report. Instead of being at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when we go live at the markets, moving it 1/2 hour later. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that is going to put it where Alex O Crypto Show will go right up to ours, and then we'll start immediately in line with Alex O Crypto Show. And then we're also working with Crypto Billy to talk to Randy Hipper and see if we can shuffle timelines throughout the entire day for feeding each other one after another. I'd like to know what you guys think about that. How would you guys like to see Piper Academy Network 30 minutes later? It'd be the same length of a show, but it would just be 30 minutes later. And what's your guys' thoughts on it? I think it's a great idea, myself personally, but would love to hear your guys' feedback. Let us know in the chat. And OC, let's go take a look at some altcoins, man. What are you looking at on the altcoin front? Let's kick it over to you.
Absolutely. I want to get started with a couple of alerts in here that we've been talking about throughout the week. And also, I want to catch them on the 4 hour. Let's get started with the very first alert that just popped in here right away. Adam, there we go. We had an ongoing trading here, and look at that. It is playing out fantastically. So hopefully you guys have entered here. Remember, TP number 1, in fact, has just right now been hit. And then we could be seeing, look at that, a goose head, possible continuation. We are building a, right here, a hidden bearish divergence. We need to be careful because we could be having a short incoming. At this point, remember, stop to entry, and then taking TP number 1 and waiting to see if we have breakout retest. I believe we're going to. But again, we are on resistance, and on resistance, we either take profits or short. All right. Why? Because that is the most possible, the greater possibility, right? Look at that. Add resistance, yes, fake out, but shorting it. Add resistance, shorting it. Add resistance, shorting it. Add resistance. What are you gonna do? Buy the top? I don't know. Just be careful there on Adam. Let me go over a virtual too. Look at that. We had a beautiful trend line. We wicked to that freaking trend line. Man, crypto is getting just like seeing a good football game, man. This is like losing a yard, gaining 2 yards, right? Man, this is a battle. All right. We had it there and then we retraced it. This is not a good signal for virtual. Why? Because you see the liquidity grab all the way up here. Basically, we have selling pressure still, right? Look at that. We are almost at the top on reversing zones, right? This is a reversing zone. This is a reversing zone. You can see the faint line right there that indicates you where we having reversing zones, right? So we are jumping into a reversing zone and we already have a red candle right there. If you can see it by the color of the week, that is a red candle. So let's throw in here a couple of other things. We know that we are on a resistance. We did not hold it at a support. It's still a resistance. Let's see if we have some order blocks. I'm very interested on seeing order blocks. Something that I just came to my knowledge in here. Look at that. We are bouncing perfectly between these two lines on predictive ranges. But come on, order blocks. Where are you hitting? Seems like they don't want to come out to play. So we'll do what we can with what we have. All right. The next best thing for on my trading book, it is a liquidity zone. So we buy low, we sell high, we just re-enter or take profits along the way. All right. So basically, if we break through, we find support. That support is going to be multi-candle support. That's going to be our next entry. But so far, waiting on virtual CRV. CRV looking fantastic. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. Look at that. We traded this at the 15 minutes, dual entries in here. Both of those playing out fantastically. Well, to be honest, this one did not play out as I was expecting. Why? Because it did not came all the way down. I was expecting it to have a V-shaped recovery. Nonetheless, this one with a little bit of adjustment because it went farther up before jumping in. Well, then that played out very nice. Other than that, let me throw it back to you, Piper, to see what you got on under your sleeve. Because, man, I think this weekend is going to be very cool.
Yeah, let's jump over and take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum had a nice run overnight. I want to take a look at that and show you guys what's going on. There was an opportunity to get in on that trade last night. Looking here at the daily, guys, you guys can see, looking at this historical trend line here, when it's been support, when it's been resistance, this trend line going all the way back here to November 21st of 2022. And you can see, looking at the 4 hour here, that overnight we did get a pop back up in through this trend line and did a nice, again, OC retest right there on it, giving us that upside move. Let's go ahead and bring in some other indicators, see what we're seeing here, because what I would like to see happen is, let me throw on the fibs. There we go. We do have a 50% fib. These are trend based fibs from the low to the high to the low of previous cycle to the cycle high to the low of the bear market here, and they've been playing out pretty freaking good. Let's take a look here where we got our top modes out here. They all hit right here in the golden pocket for our rejection. Tried to hold it, lost it, came down, caught the trend line, right? So right now, what I'm watching is that we are above the 4-hour dynamic reactor, above the quantum reactor on the 4-hour, and the 4-hour quantum reactor has not yet turned green. So I'd like to see that. But looking at what we're seeing here, if we come down and we get a bounce on the 50% line and that trend line for another move to the upside, because I do think we're getting pretty hot here on the 4-hour for that pullback to happen, I would say that we're likely heading up to like 3,800 at least for the 618. Let's go throw on some pivot tables, see how those are looking. That would be in line also with what we're seeing right now on the pivots, guys. We are in the main levels. So our first level of resistance is coming in at 3,400. Our weekly pivot is coming in right now at 3,446, and then our top side resistance is going to be coming in at 3,583. Looking right now, like if we break all these levels, guys, 3,825 is a no-brainer for us to go hit. Let's throw a fixed range volume profile on here. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. Yeah, we're above the point of control also, guys. That would put our value area high all the way up here as high as $4,000. Could Ethereum be setting up with this move if we continue to see bullish move on Bitcoin for a $4,000 Ethereum? I think it's very, very possible. Also have a trend line that just came in here and printed across on the Dynamics Market Dynamics Pro too, that we also just got a break above. So guys, breakout in session right now on Ethereum, watching it and seeing where it goes. Shout out to Chart Prime. It's nailing it here. Gave us a buy indicator right there. Come up, retest, entry, bam, off she goes. So shout out to if you're holding ETH, if you're doing the ETH hodl, go for it today. I wore the shirt just for that. Shout out to Alex O Crypto rating the chat. What's up, dude? We just talked about you, about changing our time to coincide right here at your time, which would be 8 o'clock. Really, that's what we would do it for. But what time frame do I have the pivots on? 1 week. They're on the weekly, DB Cooper. On the weekly. But shout out to Alex O Crypto and the OG gang. I'm actually putting together, he's got a sweatshirt coming that has a bunch of otters in different outfits and stuff. Lunar Beaches is on it. There's a bunch of his crew on there. He said, Piper, do you want to put one on? So I'm going to have an otter on there with a graduation cap. That's what I'm going to do. He said I could have a soldier one if I wanted to, but I said, nah, I'm soldiers with the old me. The new me is Piper Academy, Professor Piper here at the Academy. So I don't need all that. I'll just have a graduation cap on mine. So yeah, shout out to Alex O Crypto for joining over though, bringing his gang. The OG gang is here. OC, what are you looking at on alts? Because I've seen, Ethereum move, but some other ones have not really moved with Ethereum today. When we look at the crypto bubbles, I mean, we saw that there was some downside actually on things like XRP, things like Solana, not doing so well in comparison to Ethereum. So what are you seeing on some of those alts, man? Let's kick it over to you.
Absolutely. So, good thing that Alex Crypto is around here, because I think we both have been looking at this entry. Man, I did enter. I'm underwater at this point on Solana. I was expecting a retest. I went in a little bit faster of what I was expecting here. But if you want to follow this trade, be careful. I rather suggest, because this is not financial advice, suggest that you go in after the flip of the ribbon right there on confirmed bounce, because at this point we could still flop back around and go visit, yes, a retest, but on the dynamic reactor. So far, let me just draw another trend line. Remember, guys, always do trend lines. And that is a trend line for weeks. Let's go trend line for body candle. As you can see, it coexists with this area right here. So we're still in danger. And look at that, man. If that goes back down, it's going to take me out right out of the bouncing zone and then continue its way up. So I would suggest just giving it a little bit of a waiting here. And be patient. Remember TP number one, and I can, there we go, create this TP number one. If you cut it right down here, it's gonna be this area here, TP number two and TP number three, and trailing it, right? If you cut it, if you enter where I enter, we're gonna be skipping TP number one, and our TP number one is gonna be this one, TP number two, and then trailing it. Remember to move your stop to entry as soon as possible. Right now, I'm grabbing it by the nails, man. I don't want this trade to go around, because, man, Solana has been giving me, man, so I don't know, PTSD or something like that, man. As long as he doesn't give me STDs or something, that'll be good. All right. Beside the bad jokes, yeah. Beside the bad jokes, Owen, oh my God, look at that movement. And yesterday, Piper, I think you analyzed OM, right? I believe that you gave a signal on it,
I
and
did.
man, that it played out. Yeah, that it played out, buddy. Look at that roll. I mean, look at that movement here. Are we going for a retracement? Yes. How far to a retracement can we go? Let's ask our indicators in here. There we go. We have a beautiful trend line that, yeah, can be broken a little bit. So let's just add it like this. I mean, I will be a little bit more I don't know, patient with this trade. So I'll rather to see it coming back down all the way here, finding that flip of the ribbon, seeing that money flow. By the way, money flow in 37, they still look good, and volume also looks good. We just need to see that flip of the ribbon to find our pinpoint entry. So I think we're close for a possible long here. I'm gonna be setting out my alert around this area. And then, of course, above this candle, just in case start reversing. If I don't catch it right here, I'm gonna be catching it as we go up on the retest. Other than that, that's what I got. Let me throw it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Let's jump in and take a look at Chainlink right now. I'm looking at some levels here. I'm just turning off the fibs. So we did get a buy indicator that fired. It's actually a strong buy indicator on this candle right here that broke up through the pivot median. Right now, it is getting a pullback to that level, and I'm watching for $25. Nice psychological number there. Also in line with our 236, which is coming in at $24.99. So break up above this level with that strong buy indicator, I would be watching for us to hold in that level. If we can just range, which Chainlink likes to do, range bound price action, if we can just hold in that range there as support, I do think that we could see another bounce up to the upside. However, I do think that there's a really good possibility here for us to come down to our trend line here. This is our auto printed trend line from the chart prime market dynamics. It's been pretty much our bottoms here. So if we lose that level, be watching for us to come down into the trend line. It's going to be in line with the 0.382 at 2362. Does look like we could be setting up for a little bit of a turn back here. Let's look at it on the daily and just see what we're seeing on the daily here across all of the oscillators. Let's take an oscillator peep here. Looks like, yeah, guys, that I have to restate. I think that $25 range might be a good one, and here's why. Looking at the daily, you can see that the histogram's on its way up. Signal has turned here, getting ready to fire into a twist, which would mean a bullish move. You can see there we came out of a bearish move into a bullish move on the signal line on the MACD normalized, and up the price went. We're also seeing a little transition ribbon here on the daily, getting ready to move to the upside also, and we're bouncing off of the 50% on the RSI Prime, giving us another chance for an upside move there. So on the daily, looks like across all of the oscillators, minus that money flow being a little red right now, that we could be setting up on the lower time frame for that retest of $25 and then a move to the upside. So watch $25 for an entry on a long on Chainlink as it sits right now. Let's jump back over to you. Let's see what you got, bro.
Absolutely. Just giving a follow up on Litecoin. So, Litecoin, we were expecting a little bit of a retrace with a flip of the ribbon. We lost the ribbon, right? We lost the ribbon, and also we lost the retest. What was the retest here? It's not about a breakout. It's about your two candle retest, and then off we go. Your entry is on the pullback right here for the short. It's okay if you did not take the short. I wouldn't either. Why is that? Because we are pretty bullish still, and we are above the dynamic reactor. Yes, at this point, we have an inverted goose head right here, which indicates that we could be going lower. And the head and shoulders in this area shows it. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. We need to be very, very careful. And I want you guys to notice that we are on the 15 minutes, all right? 15 minutes time frame, because this analysis on the 4 hour will not apply. So we need to be very careful not losing the dynamic reactor. If we do, well, then let's take a look at if that's going to be either a fake out or we're going to be breaking out for good. And I'm going to be saying that if we break the dynamic reactor, we are going to be breaking out for good, at least in the 15 minutes. And that is because look at our support area. Right here, it is yellow. Also, we have money flow POC and dynamic reactor. That is so far the strongest confluence that we got, right? And also, something that I was not aware that I just showing here, it is that we have a pattern, right? It is ascended triangle, that it is a breakout retest, and off we go. We could be going for the next retest here. Look at that, right? So another confluence, and then going up. So we need to be very careful with this pattern. Despite it looks like we do have a head and shoulders breakout here, we have a bunch of confluence in here. So it looks like a possible fake out to the downside. That could be a good opportunity to reallocate yourself for a long position somewhere around these areas. I think this was perfect, even the stop loss. So let me drop in here a couple of alerts. Remember, I always want to set my alerts a little bit above or below, depending if that is a long of a short or a short. And that is because lately I've been just missing trades by inches. So that's what I'm trying to compensate here. We'll see how that played out on Litecoin. One more that I want to go over. It is where is it? XRP. Perfect. Yeah, XRP. But where are you, XRP? I don't see it. Let's just search for it. XRP, Alex O Crypto's favorite coin. So if you see him, send him some XRP memes or something. He loves it. He loves it. He says he doesn't, but he loves it. I know he does. So basically, we were expecting a little bit of an upper ranging movement. It actually played out. Look at that, fantastically. It's not now time to just get rid of this. And I'm gonna be saying that we are following this trend line, and also I'm gonna be saying that we're following this other trend line. Do we have a fake out? Yes. Can we also do something like that? Yes, like a broadening wedge going downwards, right? But the important part, it is that we are above the median. Any way you want to see it, we're above the median on any triangle, right? I know we read. I know we're red. I know we're pointing down, so we need to wait for a flip of the ribbon. We've been seeing that reaction a long time ago, right here. Well, not too long ago, to say. So if we are able to hold this area on the dynamic reactor, I think that will be a good opportunity to long it as we come back up, right, somewhere around there, to then break out, retest, and off we go. In fact, I'm gonna be moving my alert to the previous highs to see if I can catch the breakout, and also trying to catch the retracement around these areas. So I'm gonna put it right now exactly because I think that we could be having a little bit of overshooting to the downside. Consolidation score 9. This is very important because it's telling me highly consolidating, right? But also at the end of the consolidation, which means a breakout, imminent breakout coming up soon. So turning it back to you, Piper.
I got an alert here just now that there's been an official Amy sighting. Amy Lives Crypto is in the chat. So shout out to Amy Lives Crypto. And just because you came to grace us with your non-AI presence, just so you guys know, she's not AI. I'm going to bring up some V-chain for you and do some vet here on the TA side, guys. Looking at V-chain right now on the 4 hour, you can see we have had this level of support down here. This is the 887 on the platinum pocket. We did get a breakout above that now, which means that we should be heading back to the golden pocket. We did get a nice bounce on the quantum reactor, and the quantum reactor has turned green, guys. That is a very bullish sign to see on the 4 hour here, meaning that, look, we are confirming. You can see here when it went above it this whole time, it did not turn green because price still came down with it, but it would have turned green and predicted that. This is a predictive indicator. It's now turned green, which means that we should see some upside movement on this, not downside movement movement despite being above it. We are flattened out and moving to the upside also. V-chain looking pretty strong on the 4 hour. Let's jump over and take a look at what we're seeing here on the daily for it. Guys, histogram has turned up. Signal line is turning up and getting ready to twist for a bullish signal. We also have the transition out of that downward move that we were in, moving it into a transition to go to blue. That is that peach right there. It's a transition line. We are in that currently right now. Money flow looks like it's starting to try to come up, and the RSI pinged all the way from the bottom down at the 30% line. Didn't quite go into the full blue color, but it is looking pretty bullish right now and breaking up above its line. You can see before when we've broken this line and got that same Heikinashi look that led to this move up. Now, the question is, are we going to be able to break that 5.5 cent mark there? Was a previous resistance level. It's also going to be one of our predictive ranges here, guys. It's going to be our lower resistance, or lower support, which is now resistance for us. But on the daily here also, we are seeing that we are above on V-chain, above the quantum reactor and the dynamic reactor there, both in the green. So it looks like V-chain could have a little upside move from here. Shout out to Amy Lives Crypto. That was for you.
Nice. Taking a look at AVAX here. So AVAX was another call that we were looking, or another coin that we've been looking at, right? And it seems like we have a fake out here. Very nice fake out. A sweep of the lows. Look at that. And then going up. As you can see, I was not expecting, to be honest, this sweep of the lows. As you can see, I was expecting a straight moving to the upside. Still, the pattern is playing out. We are moving to the outside. And then guess what? Bouncing from dynamic reactor breakthrough, a retracement entry, and off we go. Seems like we're still pretty bearish. And this is important. Very bearish in movement to the upside. That means some buying pressure, most likely volume. And can we see that volume? Yes. But another important thing that I mean, maybe my spaghetti doesn't let you see. Look at that true 7 right there. Look at the true 7. It is just very, very bullish. So unless or until we get, and let me show you an example of that. Unless or until we get a true 7 bright spot like this or like this, I'm not going to be thinking on reversals, right? I'm going to be thinking or expecting, yeah, pullbacks on the bearish trend, but a steady change of trend so far. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Again, it is exactly the same. Right now, trying to create a higher low, right? Breaking through an important trend line. It's not about the breakout. It's about your retest for confirmation, maybe third low, and off we go with the movement. Let's just bring up our indicators to see what we could be expecting so far. Look at that resistance, very far away. I think we should be looking at something more like in line. There we go. We have a rejection zone in here. It is highly bullish, so we could be looking for a little bit of a retracement, but still holding. Look at that, holding on the POC, money flow POC, red line here, and then bouncing back up to the next area of resistance here. So other than that, doing great. AVAX looking good, starting to look bullish to me. We still need to be careful because regardless that it looks bullish to me, the truth of the matter is that we are still bearish. All right, so throwing it back to you, Piper.
Yeah, I want to jump over and take a look at a couple of things on the monthly returns for Ethereum, and then also its current wristbands. Shout out to Into the Cryptoverse. I got that subscription, and it's amazing. So let's go over that real fast before we round out of here and head over to the Hipper House. Yeah, let's go to let's go to news chat. We'll bring OC up here with me. There we go. That is not OC. There we go. There's OC. There we go. Taking a look here. This is Bitcoin monthly returns. And you guys can see, looking at the 4-year cycle of where were back in 2021, 14.51% was a January move. We're currently at 11.33. Okay. So Bitcoin in line with its normal monthly return for January at this point of the cycle, post halving year, right? So if we take a look at Ethereum though on here, we typically, let's look here, 78.5% back in 2021, 31.9% back in 2017. We're only up 0.7% for the month on Ethereum. Ethereum's had a pretty weak month. If we're starting to get this pump out, this breakout and pump that we're seeing on Ethereum right now, well, how can we look for the year? And I also want to jump over here to into the cryptoverse and show you, looking at the color coded by risk level, guys. You can see here that based on the risk levels at the bottom, there's 0 to 10%, 10 to 20%, so on and so forth, right? And we are usually in each cycle hitting into the high nines, the 90% plus risk levels, or at least the 80% risk levels at the top, right? Even sometimes in the 70%. Guys, right now, as we sit, we're only at a risk level of 58%. This would definitely be a dollar cost average if you're looking at the hodl game on this thing, because when you come in here and take a look, it's 58.2%. We are very low in what these levels can get to on Ethereum. And if we're just now getting that breakout, we still have the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s to hit on this cycle for Ethereum. We have a lot of catch up to do, mind you. Obviously, when you look at the returns being at 0.7% versus its previous 78 or even its 31, way under that. But right now we are starting to get that breakout on Ethereum, breaking that point of control. And if that $4,000 gets hit, guys, we're not that far off from being in line for running into what our previous all-time highs were, which would be back here in 2021 November, when we hit up around $4,800. So long way to go between here and there. A lot of things that can happen, but as of right now, we are getting that breakout, and it looks like Ethereum trying to play the catch-up game. That's all I wanted to touch on there. But guys, we appreciate all of you for joining us here today. Shout out to Retro Mike Tech. Shout out to Alexandra G, Lunar Beaches, 2Dub, the Wicks in the house. Amy Lives Crypto joining us. BC Port Court, Bid and Innuendo, all the alumni. We appreciate you guys always. Don't forget to smash up that like button and hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're new here. And if you got any value out of today's content, you think someone else would, be so kind to share it with them. That's how we grow, guys. We appreciate all of you. OC, what do you got for the people on the way out, man?
Not much, guys. Thank you so much for joining. A quick reminder to click that like button. We're falling behind for watching and clicking likes. It really helps us. And besides, that like button gives you superpowers. Don't believe me? Click it and you'll see how that laundry bunch that you have right there in the back of your closet, it goes away magically. You just need to wait enough and click the like button for your partner to do so.
I don't need that, dude. I have a magic basket. I throw my clothes in there and they end up back in my drawers. It's amazing. If you guys don't have one of those, I think my wife may have bought it at Harry Potter World or something, because it's magical. I just throw it in there, and when I get done with streams, I go out and it's folded. So shout out to everybody, guys. We'll catch you guys back here on Monday. It's the weekend. Go touch grass, spend time with family, because at the end of the day, we're doing all of this with crypto, all of this with investing for our family and our future. So go spend some time with the people that you're doing this for this weekend. I promise the charts are not going to do anything while you're gone that you can't catch up to. So, guys, we'll catch you Monday. We're about to go raid Randy Hipper's house. Go over there and drop those grad caps, and I'll catch you guys back here next Monday morning, same time as of now, for the morning market report. Till then, trade safe, and as always, use some risk management. Later, guys. I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra G. Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude.